Are we going? Come on. Come on, YouTube. I'm already here. Alright, I think it's... Eventually the picture will appear on the screen. That'll happen eventually, I swear. Hello, hello. Ah, there he is. Okay. There we are, there we are. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, I'm aware that people keep saying that there is, and if there is, I don't hear it, and I don't know how to fix it, so I am sorry, and I hope it is not unbearable, because I genuinely have no way to fix it. Yeah, I genuinely, like, if there is a tapping noise or something weird, like, I have literally no way to fix it. Absolutely none. Yeah, I don't have a mic. My mic is my iPad. So again, there's literally nothing I can do. So, yeah. Unfortunately. I could try this, but I don't think this is going to help. Yeah, I hope it's not super terrible or unbearable, but there's not really anything I can do about it, so I apologize. I don't know if that did anything. If that did something, that'll be amazing, but I don't think it did. Hello, 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 hello. Alright, I think I'm just gonna start, I guess. Got nothing better to do. Oh, that's bearable. Oh well, yeah, thank you. I mean, so long as it's bearable, it's okay. I wish there was a different way I could stream. But I cannot at the moment. So we're just gonna jump right into this. Just jump right into it. Wow. Basically, I'm working on, I'm super bored. I have like a million things I could be drawing right now, but none of them are like sparking my interest. So I just, on a whim, was like, what if I just made a character reference for my character Faye? Because he doesn't have a proper one, and I would love to commission some people to draw him eventually. So I figured I would actually make him a proper reference because I love him a lot. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get his whole reference done tonight. Definitely not. But y'all can come at least see me sketch his quote-unquote 2 outfits. And by 2 outfits, I mean without clothes and with clothes. So, you know, not completely naked, but, you know. Some characters just, you need to be able to see their body. And he is one of those characters, just a little bit. Just accompanying SMR. Was that guy in the picture we saw? Yes, it is Prelude. Oh god, do I even have it on here? I don't think I have it on hand. Oh, I should have put it in here with my references. Yeah, he's from that picture. Still one of my favorite pictures I've done as of right now, but he's from whatever it's fucking called on my DeviantArt. He's surrounded by all the people with skulls. He's in my big fantasy story, Heaven's Proxies, and love him quite a lot and his story quite a lot, even though I can't even say much of it because a lot of it is technically spoiler, but, you know, I can say some of it probably if people are curious, but yeah. Just basically a chill stream because I have literally nothing better to do right now, and if anyone wants to ask random bullshit, then you're free to ask random bullshit. Just drawing a dude. Death Man. He is ironically a little bit of both. He's both death and life in a fucked up way. He gives new life. Haha. He's definitely doesn't create whatever my world's equal of zombies would be. Definitely not. It's definitely not what he starts making. By accident, I should say. He doesn't really mean to. He doesn't know what he's doing half the time. And by the way, if my stream ever crashes, I apologize. It's because the way I stream on here is very unreliable. Usually if I'm like in the middle of a drawing, I'll usually pop back in with a follow-up stream, but I can't control it without with the crashing. Oh, you don't even see how I do eyes and make sure eyes are like symmetrical to the nose. How out does his ears be? I guess we're just gonna, just for the sake of reference, they can be a little more noticeable. Just a tad. Feel free to ask random bullshit. Go for it. Live your dream. I started the zombie apocalypse, not clickbait gone wrong. He does though, just a little bit. Oh. Listen, sometimes you just are trying to go about your day and you accidentally start a zombie apocalypse. It happens to the best of us, honestly. Just an average Tuesday, yeah. Listen, just sometimes it happens. Can't help it sometimes. I might need to change his hair color, though, a little bit. When I actually get around to coloring this, but... Video games, like genre and examples of stuff you like. Don't know if you've ever said, though. I like a lot of different kinds of games. Typically, I love puzzle games, but I also like a lot of mass multiplayer kind of games. I used to be like really into, but I also like a lot of mobile games because mobile games are just like a lot easier for me to play. And there's a lot of people shit on mobile games, but I very much believe it's because a lot of the kind of things people think of when you say a mobile game is stuff like, you know, fucking Candy Crush or whatever. But like they don't think of the of Vainglory, of Identity V, of the Room series, of all sorts. There's like tons and tons of really, really good mobile games and stuff like that. So it's a shame they get such a bad rap. But so I've played, like, I used to play Vainglory. Now I'm like super into Identity 5 and Brawl Stars. I play a lot of puzzle games and stuff like that. Yeah, well, Among Us is also, I think there's probably some people who kind of ignore that it's even a mobile game. I've met people where they're like, oh, but I can't buy it, like, on my PC or whatever. It's like people will say it's a mobile game. So there's, like, so many people who don't even know Among Us is a mobile game. Yes, I'm aware, Jay. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not really even a microphone. It's my iPad, and I have nothing else I can record with. Literally nothing. Not my voice, anyway. Where did you even get Photoshop in the first place and how? Well, I got it originally because my dad bought Elements a long time ago and he gave it to me. And then eventually he got me an Adobe subscription. And then I stopped using it because I absolutely hated Photoshop CC. Elements was like superior. And yeah, ever since then I don't use Photoshop, period. So I also just don't like using Adobe if I can help it, because Adobe fucking sucks, and no one really should be supporting Adobe if they can help it, because their subscription program is like absolute bullshit. There's plenty of other just as good or even better applications that can do that kind of stuff, especially because like I feel like every time they remake Photoshop they make it like worse. Personally. All right, here we go. So this is my expert eye trick. You just, you know, put 2 dots where the tear ducts are on each side of the nose, and it helps you line up where your fucking eyes go. It's my favorite thing, and my friend absolutely hates it, so I constantly send it to her when possible. Because she hates it. That is my simple, easy trick for doing symmetrical eyes. It's a source of nightmares. It's my favorite thing. I think it's so fucking funny. I've gone back to old art pieces and I've just done it just to see what it looks like. It's really funny. He's got big eyes, but he doesn't have like enormous eyes. I should... No, I don't want to do that. I wanted to shrink it just a little bit. Got me addicted to character design. Well, I'm glad. I love character design a lot. I'd go nuclear just to see what happens, since zombie apocalypse scenarios are all pretty much the same, and there are too many folks think they'd survive just because gun. Honestly, Jace, I never really cared for like the zombie apocalypse drama like genre that much, for like almost that exact same reason. It never appealed to me because like they're all very similar ideas, and they never really feel that like that interesting to me. But that's also why when I find the rare pieces of media that do it like in a very unique way, I find them fascinating, and I love it when genres can actually take the concept of like zombies and actually do that kind of thing in a way that's more interesting, as opposed to just people running around in like jeeps and guns and whatever. And like, which is fine if that's what people are into, but for me it's definitely not I've never really found much interest in it. But if you want something that's like for example, one of my 2 favorite books is The Forest of Hands and Teeth, which is technically post-apocalyptic, zombie apocalypse, but they don't even call them zombies in the book. They're called the unconsecrated or whatever. It's basically the unholy. And it's actually like long past the end of the world, where everybody's living in where we're at a point where there have been generations who have been born in these like secured towns with these high fences and stuff like that. That book is amazing and dark. But it is a zombie apocalypse book, and I fucking love that book because it takes like everything you normally see in the zombie genre, and they make it like it's just completely different, and it's far more in depth in the way the world is built. And I find it to be very, very interesting. So like that kind of stuff I tend to like. And in this one, I mean, I even have, there's quote unquote zombies. They're never called zombies or whatever, but they're undead. And they do technically kill people. So, but yeah, it's very good. I would simp for how good you do those eyes. I'm joking about the simp part. I just really like how you did that. Yeah, I love doing eyes. I love doing eyeballs. What program are you using at the moment? Because I want to download it. The problem is my dad won't let me download it on my computer because he's worried I might get a virus. I'm using Procreate. It's on my iPad. Procreate is an art app. It's like the app for iPad for like Apple stuff. But yeah, if you want to get it on there, I mean, you don't get a virus from it. It's on the App Store. But I think it's still only $15. They might have raised it a little bit recently, but it is not bad for the price you get it at. It ain't no Adobe Photoshop, that's for sure. Yeah, I would just love to see some more zombie stuff that's not just, oh, zombies, we have guns. Wah. I don't like Adobe. I think its system is bullshit. You pay way too much money to have a bunch of programs you're not even gonna use, and you pay it constantly, and you got shit like Procreate over here that you literally buy once and you have it forever. So personally, I just think Adobe fucking sucks. And they also, it feels like every single time they update their fucking programs, it's like they get worse and they have less features that I like. Just not worth it. Just not worth it. If you're ever going to use Adobe, use it because someone is buying it for you. Use it because you have a student license. Don't ever use your own money for it. You're so good. I love your art. Oh, thank you. I mean, my channel's a little dead. I haven't made videos in ages, and people tend to not really watch streams very much, so. But I enjoy doing streams far more than I do making videos, to be honest, so. For many reasons. What do you think of Dragon Ball Z? Have you ever watched the series before on Toonami? I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. I didn't technically watch it. There was a time when I vehemently refused to watch any of the crude boy shows because I was convinced I was a girl and I was going to be the girliest of girls. Look at me now, bitch. But my brother used to watch things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball Z all the time. And I would always like, bleh, I hate those annoying boy shows that make no sense. But then I would my parents would be like, hey, put on something you want to watch. And I'd be like, oh, well, I don't want to watch something, so I guess my brother has to watch something now. And then be disappointed when he didn't put on one of the cartoons he likes, because I wanted to watch them, secretly. So I did watch a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. Not very far into the series, but I know I watched, up to the Cell Saga, at least. And I love Dragon Ball Z Abridged, so. Help for character names. What's your process? Do you just think about it off the top of your head, or do you go super deep? Because I will spiral to find a good name. It very much depends on the kind of character I'm making, to be honest. Sometimes I put, a lot of thought into names, and I put, a lot of, thought and research into finding a good name for a character. And other times I just name them bullshit. It just genuinely depends on kind of character I want, what kind of story they're in. Faye, his name is kind of BS. His name is Fae because he's the fairy prince, because that's an alternate name he's given. And the creatures he create become called Fae. So, you know, he's my world's Fae, so his name is Fae. Aren't I creative? There's definitely not jokes and gonna be jokes in my own story talking about how confusing that is, but it's makes me laugh, so that's all that matters. Apocalypse idea, instead of making the usual zombies, they still keep their mind and basically stay human. They just have a high bloodlust and gain 1 power. They have to hide. Gain 1 power that they have to hide to blend in and eat humans. Neato. I straight up named my OC Coat because I thought it was funny. Faye is so strange. He's the kind of character you'd think I would have given claws, but he doesn't have claws. He just has, like, painted-ass nails. I love giving my OCs unnecessarily fingernail claws, but no, he doesn't have them. He just has normal bitch baby nails. And his hands are constantly bent at uncomfortable angles. God, I'm gonna have to make something for this stupid tapping, aren't I? I'm so tired of repeating myself. His arms might be too long. His arms, I mean, do I care that his arms are too long? No, I've accepted the reality that I give all of my damn characters fucking model legs, but you know. Portless. Do you ever have trouble trying to incorporate something into your art style? I'm only now trying to incorporate lips into my mouths, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to do it with how I draw mouths. Here's the thing I think nobody really talks about as much with art styles, and it's that, to be quite frank, art styles aren't about, like, can you or can you not draw something. It should be about taking things that already exist and how you interpret them in your style. For example, like for lips, for example, for lips, it's like, it becomes a question of, do you draw lips or do you not draw lips? Because that becomes down to your interpretation. And if you do draw lips, then however you decide you're going to actually draw, like, larger lips or more noticeable lips, that becomes something that you're going to figure out, and that will become your style. It's not going out of your style or incorporating it into your style. It's figuring out how your style would interpret those kinds of things. So, like, I mean, in some cases, there are some styles where just no character has lips, period. It's just not something that an artist does, and that's fine. It's just a matter of either keeping that consistent, or if you decide you want to start drawing lips and defining lips, it's figuring out how you want to interpret that, how you want to draw that. And that's just kind of the thing about art styles. It's why I don't really like the excuse that people have whenever they say, well, I can't draw that. It doesn't fit my style. Well, yes, it does. You just haven't drawn it in your style yet. So figure it out. Like, that's just part of art. It's the most infuriating when people say that in relation to, drawing different races and different skin colors, but that's a different discussion we don't need to get into. But my point is that, like, anything can be done in your style. It's up to you to figure out how you want it to fit into your style and how you want to stylize it. That is the key word, stylize. So I would just, if you're struggling to figure out how to incorporate lips into your style, play around with some things. Go find some stylized lips. Go find some pictures of actual lips and figure out how you want to simplify it down. Try some stuff out on a different layer and figure out what works, what doesn't, what you really don't like. And if all else fails, maybe just, you don't have to give the character lips obviously unless it's for a commission. If it's for a commission and the person, is adamant that you give the character lips, then that's something you're gonna have to figure out. But yeah, happy early Indigenous People Day. But yeah, that's my advice about that. Yeah, because it's that's something I feel like isn't talked about as much, and I would love to talk about it, but I'm kind of, I don't really want to I don't have the energy to make a video about it right now. But, yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. Just broaden your horizons. Experiment and try new things, and don't ever use the excuse of, I can't draw that because it doesn't fit my style, because that's not how styles work. And technically speaking, one person can have many a different style. And never be afraid to go look up some tutorials and do things. And never be afraid to try a new style. Just general things that we're telling people. See, when I am black, so I just feel bad. Oh, goodness. I would encourage you, if any of you are struggling with that kind of thing, like how to draw kinkier hair or curly hair, I know on Twitter there's a lot of people that's been making tutorials on how to draw different types of braids and different types of hair textures. So I'd encourage you to go look for that. I really need to make some kind of tutorial about how I draw hair in general, because I think a lot of people like how I do that. But I would definitely encourage you to go poke around on Twitter or just in other places, because there's definitely been some people around who've been making some really nice tutorials on how to draw different styles of hair and different textures of hair. Do you have any advice for giving characters faces that look unique? Whenever I draw characters, I feel like their faces look the same. This is my best kind of advice for that. I think there is advice out there that might work better for different kinds of people. But something I tend to say is that, like, the best thing I can suggest is to find faces of actual people. Try to avoid looking at pictures of, like, celebrities or models or things like that, because that's where you're actually going to find a lot of, like, very similar faces. I would look up, like, try to just look for some random, very normal looking people from all sorts of different places in the world and that kind of thing. And then take those faces and try to draw those faces, or just put all those faces together and study them for a minute. Because people don't realize how different even just normal looking faces look. Because a lot of people talk about realism and are like differentiating, how do I speak? Differentiating faces So it's almost like models conform to a certain standard of beauty. But like, if you if you look for like just different, like a lot of times when people talk about breaking like same face syndrome, they talk about like super cartoony styles, and always like using very exaggerated shapes and stuff like that, which is good advice, but they don't typically talk about like how to apply that into realism or into like semi-realistic styles, like where I kind of consider mine. I'm learning actually more people think mine is far more exaggerated than I actually thought it was, but it's um, but I would definitely encourage like go find some like pictures of some just actual people and study them, because you'll be surprised how different just normal people's faces look. They can look just incredibly different and diverse. Even two people who have like very similar looking faces can have small differences in just like their cheekbones or their noses, or their ears even. So I would go find some pictures of just some random ass people. Find like your friends and things like that. Take pictures of them and try to draw your friends just using the photos as the reference. Because that is the best way you can kind of explore different faces and different shapes, and how you can kind of break out of that, because when you try to start drawing those different kinds of things, you start to pick up on things that you like, and you start to apply that more in how you draw. So yeah, that would be my advice, and I'm sure there's other better piece of advice out there. It really does depend on what kind of like style you're going for, and what kind of like how drastic you want it to be, and that kind of thing. And it also just works best for you. But I would just I would explore that. But definitely always look at real people. Always do that. Stare at people on the street. Make them slightly uncomfortable. And then when they ask you what you're doing, you can just say, "Oh, well, I'm an artist." Don't actually do that. I'm joking. Oh goodness. I really kind of stopped caring about same face syndrome, and I really kind of focus more on letting the facial structure and features express what kind of characters I want them to be. I mean, yeah, that's always what's important, because I've always felt that to me personally, it doesn't really matter if your characters have same face syndrome. Technically, I don't think people should care as much about it as people do all the time, because there's plenty of media where characters, like if you took away all of their other defining features, like their colors and their hairstyles and all of that, they would look exactly the same. And there's some shows that like make that work, and they make it fine. I mean, My Little Pony has literally the exact same body type and face shape for 90% of its characters. And they're still identifiable characters, and they still work. Powerpuff Girls, the three main characters all look identical in their actual shape, but they have plenty of defining features in their silhouettes that make them stand out. So I don't really think that faces and matching body types are always the problem. It just depends on what kind of context they're in, and what kind of story they're a part of, and how the actual like story is told, and how other things go. I think it depends on case by case. I think what people need to focus on more is making defining characters, and characters that stand out and are individual in the stories they are in, as opposed to making all of their actual like faces identifiably different by themselves. Because when you're watching a show or reading a comic, you don't typically like stare at a character's face 100% of the time. You probably see a variety of different, like you probably see their whole bodies, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the time you'll probably see their hair and their clothes. It just very much depends. I mean, hell, that shit happens in like live action stuff too. I've watched things before where there are characters and people that just look so similar to me that I forget that they're two different people sometimes, and it's hard for me to tell them apart because they look so similar. even if their faces aren't, exactly the same. They just look very similar in general, in either their silhouette or their hair or whatever it might be. Um, it just, that's just a kind of thing that happens, and it's all about defining characters and creating characters that stand out, and designs that fit those characters, as opposed to trying to make your characters look as drastically different from each other as possible. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel too. I don't think that people need to make their characters all look super crazy different, but I also actually think I tend to like it when people give their characters like different faces and different body types, and very like different colors and things like that. That's just always been someone who I am. I like having variety in the kinds of things that I watch and that I see and that I consume. It's more fun. It's more fun, in my opinion. But do what you like. It's about what you want to do. A fun thing I like is that if I make an ugly character just not normally attractive, I like making them a little more realistic, making their eyes a little smaller and messy hair and stuff like that. Yeah, I think one of my favorite compliments that I got recently was somebody told me that, because I tend to like default a lot to making a lot of my characters look pretty in some way. It's just kind of a habit. But I also I don't like making all of them conventionally pretty, because a lot of conventionally pretty things I don't actually like. Like, for example, I fucking hate thin brows. I hate them, and I don't know why they're a trend. I don't know why for years people are just like, thin brows are the shit. I'm like, no, give me some thick, expressive eyebrows. I hate it when people just have like pencil thin eyebrows, in both real life and in character design. But I'll draw it. I will, but I won't be happy about it. But even fucking Faye, this is thin eyebrow for me, to be honest. Like, that's thin to me, because I don't really like doing pencil thin. It takes a very specific character to make me do it pencil thin. But what I was saying was that I thought it was funny because somebody told me recently that they liked how I made a lot of characters that aren't conventionally, a lot of beautiful characters that aren't conventionally beautiful. And I like it because that is my intention, so I'm glad that someone noticed. Feeling called out because I used to only draw guys and I thought that were attractive. Listen, draw whatever you like. It's okay if you like anything that's conventionally pretty or whatever. It's it's all about what you find appealing to you. You know what I mean? I don't tend to design characters with pencil thin brows most of the time because I tend to not like how they look. But I also have no issues with people who think that they are that they like very thin eyebrows. I have no beef with that because it's all about preference. That's the magic word. World would be a much better place if people could just design things that they thought that they just liked, you know? Didn't have to be expected to design a bunch of shit they didn't like. Speaking of things I hate fucking drawing feet. I hate it. Almost as much as I hate pencil brows. Why did I have to make you barefoot? You're not even barefoot in the original fucking thing I got. You wear shoes, but I'm like, bare feet fits you more. So fucking, I don't know what to do. This is what I do to myself. I make character design decisions that I think are great in theory, and then I fucking hate myself afterwards because I hate that I have to draw it. Because I'm like, oh yeah, that's an absolutely fitting character choice for that character. And then I go to draw it and I'm like, fuck you, younger me. The foot doesn't even look right. I'm so fucking upset. Why are they fucking, do I have to pull up a reference? Do I have to pull up my handy dandy handy app? The handy app is lovely, by the way. They added a bunch of stuff. They added, like, they have feet, they have heads, they have, they now have it where you can hold props. Handy's great. But also, I have to pull up Handy now so I can figure out how to draw this fucking foot. God, I hate it. I mean, I love it because I love having this app because this app is very useful. It's very handy. Anyway, I'm losing my mind. This is what, like, 2 days of just pure boredom has done to me. I'm doing nothing. Or I feel like it's doing nothing. What's it called? It's called Handy. I don't know if it's on Android. But I know it's on iOS. It might cost a little bit of money. I'm not sure. I got it, like, a long time ago. I think back then it was, like, 99 cents, but, that doesn't look right. No, Handy, you're lying to me. Handy, you're lying to me. That doesn't look right. Handy. Okay, what if I just, like, did it like that? And maybe it'll look better? I don't fucking know. I don't know how to draw feet. I hate feet. And all my friends hate feet. Looks worse than what I did before, but you know, sometimes we just have to live with our flaws. You know, sometimes we just have to accept the fact that feet are hideous, horrible things, and I wish feet didn't exist. I wish we could just have extra hands. This is why when I designed my fucking bat people for this stupid world, I gave them hand feet, because you know what's easier to draw than feet? Hands for feet. I'm at that point in my art career. Handy art reference tool for $2. That's probably it for $3. God, and now your legs don't even look right. They look, God, your thighs are too long. What am I doing with my life? Welcome to This Is How I Draw Full Bodies. This is why I had to raise my prices, all right? Because people kept asking me for full bodies, and they don't realize how much I had to suffer with drawing fucking feet for like 30 minutes. Listen, I'm a man who understands that some people have fetishes. Some people like feet. And I can accept that, and I can just live with that knowledge and be fine. But also, what about a foot is even attractive? Feet are horrible creations created by whatever demon creature people believe in. They're just awful. God. Random question, can you do splits, handstand, bridges, etc.? Used to, kind of. I used to actually do gymnastics. Can't do the splits. That I can tell you. Handstand, I could do a handstand. I mean, I haven't tried it in like years. But that's besides the point. I used to be able to do cartwheel too. Don't know so much about it now though, and I don't know exactly how or where I would test that. But y'all will just have... I forgot. I didn't give him nipples. My guy's got to have nipples. He's not that dead. This is where I get demonetized, because I drew nipples. But they're man nipples, YouTube, so you can't censor me, because for some reason we don't censor man nipples. Hate that shit. Now I just gotta draw his fucking long-ass hair. You see? Okay, funny story. His hair was not supposed to be this long, but then for one picture, I drew it like this fucking long, and now I have to live with that. I have to commit I have to commit that I gave him long ass fucking hair. I mean, it makes sense, but also because of the way he works that I haven't explained to anybody watching this, but I'm also like, why did I make the horrible mistake of giving him like this long of hair and I have to commit to my horrible life choices? And whoever I eventually pay to draw this man will hate me because I give him long ass hair. And eventually it's going to be braided. Even worse. This is just his hair down. Bitch puts it in a braid. You're right, I only have myself to blame. Listen, one time I did an art poll because I was designing a character. And I was like, okay, we're going to have a character who's like middle-aged man, you know, like whatever. How long should their hair be? And I gave people, I think, a range of bald to Rapunzel, thinking that people would pick things in between those. What did people do? No. People picked Rapunzel. So I have a second character with hair just as long as this that I haven't used in the way I want to use him yet, but it's okay. Oh yeah, I like long hair too. I like all kinds of hair. I don't like that. I'm gonna change that trajectory right there. Also, I saw that earlier, Mooney. Yes, it is that guy. Yeah, long hair is always good in theory, but not so great in practice. I'm actually growing out my hair, ironically. Amazed I actually still pass, even though my hair is much longer than it was a few months ago. But I'm growing it out because a long time ago, when I was a lot younger, I used to donate my hair to Locks of Love, basically just to have it like turned into wigs for like kids who are going through chemo treatment and stuff like that. And I didn't do it for a long time because my hair was like progressively getting shorter and shorter and I didn't want to grow it out anymore. But then I got to a point where I was like, man, I really want to do that again. So I am now, partly because of quarantine, I didn't want to go to the hairdresser, but I was also like, what a wonderful excuse. So I'm growing out my hair again so I can cut it all off and donate it. Again, like the good old days. That seems about right for him. His foot is still fucked up. I hate that foot. I don't know how to make it. Maybe if I like makes it a little better. Wavy curly hair. Yeah. I like drawing pictures of really long. Me too. I really like poofy hair. Braid my hair maybe. It's not long enough for that. Favorite hair to draw is the crazy lion's mane. Just long, fluffy, and crazy. I love it. Yeah, me too. Long hair is fun. Any hair is fun, honestly. Even bald characters are fun. We don't discriminate against hair in this house. All kinds of hair is valid. Messy hair, tidy hair, long hair, short hair, bald. We accept them all. I think that's about it for him. I'm going to slap his tats on here just for fun. just because I need something to chill out to. Because I don't know if I'm even going to get to sketching his clothes on top of all this. Because this is just his, like, without clothes kind of reference that I usually make when I make proper references. Because I do that for two reasons. I do it because sometimes characters have things under their clothes that are important, and then also because if I ever want to put that character in a different outfit, I can just kind of do that really easily. Easier than, like, completely getting rid of the clothes they already have on. But I need to do the actual clothed one on top of this at some point, with his hair tied up and all that shit. But doesn't mean I can't have fun in sketching out his marking shit. Where do you come up with your art ideas? I don't know. Somewhere. I don't like the curvature. It'll support it. Yeah, he's got like these wild markings and they're constantly... Nice thing is that as crazy as they are, if I ever give this to an artist, one of my biggest notes is that you can draw his markings kind of however you want, because throughout his whole story and whatnot, they always progressively kind of change and are always adding more and stuff like that because he's unstable. And so there's really no need to be consistent when you're drawing these. I am, just because I have a bad habit of trying too hard to be consistent. But no one else has to. That's my key point. Why does my brain think it's blood like he just has it for no reason? He would. Oh, well, thank you, P-chan. That's sweet of you. Do I have permission to give homeboy a kiss? You can. You might die, but, you know, you might accidentally, like, get your lungs filled with flowers, but, you know, sometimes just things happen and we can't control them. I love him, though. He's my favorite arc and story in Heaven's Proxies. Because it's a bit of a tragedy, but it also is fucking cool. He gets a bittersweet kind of ending, I would say. Well, thank you, Mr. Hamburger. Punk powers sounds like a sick way to go, not gonna lie. Yeah, he has a thing, because in, like, this one specifically, the headshot of him, he has all those plants. I always forget it when I'm drawing him, but he's magic, technically, but he can't control it. So anytime he's walks anywhere, he just leaves a footpath of plants overgrowing. And he's always just constantly has them sprouting from his body and all that kind of stuff. He's definitely a body horror character. Let's just put it like that. He's also somewhat dead, so things always bend too far. You could snap his neck and his head would just snap around the other way. You know. Sometimes things happen. It's just now dawning on me. He doesn't technically have his actual, like, body markings settled on, so I could just kind of bullshit this. Ain't that fun? Welcome, hyena. Welcome, scared hydrant. I misread that just a little bit. God, bitch, you have so many markings. And this is technically your end of story markings, technically. But shh, nobody needs to know that. Except for the 40 people I just told, but you know. Thank you. Always makes me happy to know some people like how I draw. Story details? What story details? Nothing. No story details here. These markings look really cool. Thank you. They're wild as fuck. Is there a story behind this character? Yes, he's in my big fantasy story, The Heavens Proxies. I can't say too much because technically a lot of it is like massive story spoilers. But what I can say is that he is called a fae and he creates it's basically like, best way I can describe it is he's infected with magic that's just kind of overflowing out of him. And he ends up starting to just kind of resurrect people from the dead, and he creates the fae. You know, as one does by accident. He's also never aware what he is doing at any moment or any time. Just kind of floats by, not sure if he exists or not. Hold on, what are the references? I'm getting impaled, oh god. Yeah, I don't have the full picture on here, but there's it looks a lot cooler when it's shaded. But, there's a picture I have on my DeviantArt. It's called Ouroboros. Can't explain the context of that picture, because again, it's literally a massive spoiler, but you know. I drew it because it felt cool, and it was cool. So now everyone just has to live in mystery. He's also interesting because his markings are all like, they're all asymmetrical, and that's just kind of a thing he's meant to have. They're not supposed to be symmetrical. which is not something I normally have. Yes, don't jinx it. You say that, but the stream could crash at any moment. The markings tattoos or something? No, they're markings just kind of that appear on him just very randomly. They started as soon as he was born / created, quote unquote. And he they they can oh goodness, sorry, I'm distracted. But they just kind of keep, quote unquote, growing on him, and more appear just kind of constantly. And they just all appear just very wild and asymmetrical and ununiform. Just wild. Listen, it's all a metaphor for his mental state. That's the key here. It's all a metaphor for depression. Not actually for him, but, created, yes. He was not, again, spoilers, but he was born a normal human. There is a normal human under here, but he was, his actual, magic and all of the weird and natural parts of him come from magic, and because he wasn't supposed to be like this, just kind of happened for reasons. Things and stuff and reasons. Allegories. Also, I'm sorry if I ever miss anybody's questions. I'm not intending to. I'm not really looking directly at the chat right now. I'm more looking at the drop downs when they appear. So if I do miss anybody, I apologize. It's not intentional. Boop, 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 doo, 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 doo. Focus. Look at this crazy little dude. Oh, well, thank you, Via Nickel. I'm glad I could be an inspiration. Take a ludicrous amount of time to braid. I know. Somehow he does it. It's almost like he doesn't actually do it intentionally. It's almost like it just kind of happens. Like how 90% of the things he does isn't intentional. They just kind of happen. So listen, why do I want a picture where Faye has his hair and all those flowers and junk like the one seen in Tangled? Listen, that's just his hair normally. Hey, do you still do those analyze OC type things? Because they say, oh, see who's a villain that would... Wait, do you still do those analyze OC type of things? Because they say, oh, see who's a villain that would like you to analyze her, and I would like to see what your opinion... I don't really do them a whole lot anymore. Again, I don't really have a lot of a want to make videos and things right now. I've kind of just not in my repertoire right now. Just for multiple different reasons, but so I'm sorry about that, but I'm not really doing OC reviews and OC critiques at this point. His hair flow into his tattoos? I don't know how that would work, though. Magic, probably. You looking crazy. Which is the intention. Are you going to delete the stream or are you going to upload it to... It's going to go on YouTube. All of my streams are left on YouTube after they're done. I just tend to not make edited videos. I love to stream, though. Do I go back and watch my own streams? I do not, but I do enjoy streaming. Bro, do not get fireworks stuck in my head. I remember that I had to sing that song in my elementary graduation, and I hate that I know all the words to that song. So you say that this guy just does things even when he doesn't mean it. Like, would he be the type to make Pop-Tarts and forget that they're there? Or would he be the type to randomly forget? He would absolutely be that kind of guy. He is just raw, untapped, unharnessed chaos. His entire character. He doesn't know what he's doing. You don't know what he's doing. No one knows what he's doing. It just happens. It's also why the main villain is intimidated by him, because he's absolutely unpredictable. But that's besides the point. Also, fun fact, Faye is actually an antagonist in the story that he's in. At least for a little while. But he's an antagonist for a while. Kinda destroys, a whole fucking kingdom. Or two, Casual Saturday afternoon. Sounds truly chaotic and lovely, yeah. That's good enough, I think. Oh, well, wait, hang on. I've forgotten something. Got like a little thing on his face right here. There we go. There we go. Look at him. I have to change his colors a little bit when I actually get around to coloring him, because I've been restructuring some of the stuff in my story in terms of like how humans look and things like that. And I need to go back and like see if I need to change some of his colors and stuff like that. Hi Mitchie, how you doing? I'm streaming. Very dangerous and psychotic, 10 out of 10. Correct. Hello, Mitchie. Welcome. I should have told you. I saw your reply. I just was distracted because I was... What was I ranting about? I went on a rant about feet. I went on a rant about, I don't know, many things. Like, geez, imagine being so chaotic you forgot you destroyed a kingdom last week. You know. Listen, sometimes it just happens to the best of us, okay? We taking a break now. It's break time. It's break time, ladies and gentlemen. I was ranting because I hate drawing feet. Feet are awful. Feet are the worst thing to draw. Everyone can say it's hands, but it's not. Hello, Michi. Hello. How are you on this fine day? Or I should say night, because you slept all day, you bitch. I went to bed at like 11 a.m. I'm aware you did. I was there. I was messaging you and then you disappeared and I'm like, there she goes. Gotta wake up at midnight. Her sleep schedule's gonna be fucked more. Just the things you think about. Janky hands, the crooked spine are so chilling. Yeah, that is 100% a part of his character. He's just, everything about how he moves and how he poses is just unsettling. It's always just a little bit not how things bend. It is him. I'm making him a reference, Mitchie. I can get art of him. Proper artwork of him after I put clothes on. Oh, thank you, Mooney. That's sweet of you. Every step is another crack. I mean, technically, he moves around. It's hard for me to describe, but he, like when he walks around, he kind of like lurches around, like he can't move properly. Just kind of always like uneven walking and always just kind of like lurching and twitching everywhere as opposed to just walking. I don't even know if I'm going to keep going. I need to draw the rest of his outfit. But I like the way you talk about your characters. It sounds so well thought out. How do you get to know your character so well? A lot of just asking myself dumbass questions. Listen, if you ever want to develop your characters, anytime you want to develop your characters, I think 30 minutes if you want to join. Maybe, Mitchie, I will think about it. I might end the stream. I don't know if I'm going to keep drawing or not, so I guess I'll decide that in the next, 10 minutes. But if you ever want to develop your characters more, a good strategy to do is just get some random questions and start asking yourself random questions about your character. It can be anything as deep as, like, what would they do if their best friend died, to anything as lighthearted as, like, what's their favorite flavor of ice cream? And if you tell yourself, well, I don't know, now you can figure it out. That's always a good way to develop characters. Also, just a lot of it is just, I mean, for me, it's hard because a lot of my inspiration comes from just swings of hyperfixations. So, like, Faye, for example, and another character I have, Taka, have been in my brain for a while. And they, like, just sometimes I just start thinking a lot about their story and things like that. Adjectives are the best kinds of words. Move their characters, possessed and unhinged. I know I'm using a lot of adjectives, but you know. Yeah, he's freaky. He's a horror. He's a body horror character through and through. I can't, Mitchie. I physically can't. Last time I tried to change drawings, my stream crashed. That was months ago. I don't want to try it again. I would, but I can't. Things just crash on me. I also don't know if we can even open my photos because there's some stuff in there that's like supposed to be super secret stuff I'm doing for a game, so I don't really know if I can just open my camera roll. So I apologize. I can't, again, I wish I didn't have to stream this way. I know a way to do it. It's just for some reason, it's not even just that the way I tried didn't work. It's just for some reason my specific computer or my specific iPad wouldn't let it work. And I don't know why, and it was so upsetting. It's just, we also want a screen mirror, and that's literally the only way to do it to your computer, and it makes me so fucking upset because it doesn't work. So I just have to suffer. I don't know. I want to do clothes on him, but I also don't. I want to fight misbehaving technology. Such is the Mooney way. Would this character look like a tuxedo, gasp, or a dress? He would. I don't have a lot of different outfits for him. I'm just wanting to get him a reference so I can get art of him because I love him quite dearly. He lives rent-free in my brain at all times. I don't think I can imagine this man in pants. Neither can I. He wears leggings. That's the most he can do. I am a simple man. I design many masculine characters that, for some reason, you can't imagine in pants. It is just the power that I have. I like the pseudo skirt he has, very stylish and exotic. I never get notifications about your lives. I'm sorry. I wish YouTube didn't fuck all that up. It sucks because I might be done in a minute. I'm probably gonna, because I want to do the I want to do the his actual clothes, but if I do his clothes, I need to do his fucking hair, and I don't want to do his hair. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Diego. Nah, I'm more the smart friend who can bullshit very well. Big yawn. He's very lazy. Listen, I can BS my way through many things. Not everything, but many things. His hair's so beautiful. I imagine him in a braid or maybe like ass messy because I mean, that's literally what this is. This is his hair. I tormented himself because you can see in the original things, and the original thing that he had a braid, but it was much shorter and a much more reasonable length. But no, because I had to be a dramatic ass shit when I was drawing this picture, I had to make it 1,000,000 miles long, and now I have to commit to this horrible decision that I made for aesthetic. Sometimes you just do things by mistake. Can he cut his hair, or does it just grow back to this mess? He probably could, but he also... My bullshit explanation for how his hair could get this long, even though technically in the story he's not alive for like that long, technically, in comparison to other characters. But is because he has his magic, and his magic literally is like just flowers and plants just sprout from him constantly. So it's sort of this idea that he's just exploding with life. So his hair just grows very thick and very strong and very healthy. And very fast. So just tie a knife to the end and just whip. Oh, Faye, let down your hair. Oh, so he's a weed plant. He is. I mean, technically, listen. Yeah. I do love him. Honestly, if I don't stream any more of this, I think I'll still come back and I'll stream more of it again at some point. Just because, so y'all can see the rest of this. Because I will, this is just literally the sketch. So, like, I mean, it could technically be the line art if I just, like, cleaned up a couple things. Might even just keep this as the line art because it's very clean. But I'll probably still, if I don't stream more of him tonight, I'll probably, whenever I work on more of this reference and, like, putting clothes on him and stuff, I'll stream more of this. Can we smoke it? He does not grow weed. He might by accident, but I don't think he intends to. Would have done it after destroying 2 kingdoms in one day. Yeah, obviously. This sounds just like my weekend plans. Oh my god. I hate this new headcanon that he's now he's now just high all the time. Imagine his whole weekdays. Listen, his weekdays are for resurrecting people and creating Fey zombies, okay? That's what his normal plans are. I wish I could show you the damn picture of him with the people around him. Oh my fucking god. It's a picture I like quite a lot. I would I wish I could show it to you. It's on my DeviantArt or my art station if anyone wants to go look at that. The Zodiac Lord. It's somewhere in there. You'll know it because you'll look at it and you'll be like, ugh. Does he have any followers that do simp for him? I feel like they'd be horrible and amazing, just like their god. Technically anybody that he raises from the dead get this weird, I don't want to say hive mind because it's not like they all think they're the same person, but they all kind of just sort of think they're just extensions of himself, essentially. They start to just kind of think the same way he does and have the same quote unquote motives they do, but they all follow whatever he says and what he does. They're just mindless zombies, essentially. Ironically, not a cult. There's an actual cult in the story. This is just undead people who don't have souls, so he just puts his overwhelming soul into them and controls them with magic without realizing that he's doing that. Because
everything he does. He doesn't really understand what he's doing. It just happens. His brain says, I want friend, so he touches dead body, and now he has friend. That's what he knows. Yeah, all he thinks is it's a very loyal buddies. Yeah, it's his homies. All right, I think I'm gonna end the stream. So thank you all for coming, and if whenever I come back to work on this and start doing more of the sketches and stuff, I will stream that, and I will actually get that damn picture I was talking about and put it on here too, so people can see it. But yeah, thank you all for coming. This